This morning, it's been over 4 years now since New Canaan mother Jennifer Dulos disappeared.
And after an intense search by state police, she was presumed murdered by her estranged husband, Fotis Dulos. FOX61's Keith McGilvery is sharing how her disappearance has put a spotlight on domestic violence here in our state.
The disappearance and presumed death of Jennifer Dulos put that issue of domestic violence into this major spotlight. And as the case goes to trial this week, we are looking at what we've learned from the New Canaan mom of 5 story and what people need to know if they or someone they love is in trouble. Mary Jane Foster with the Interval House, a nonprofit committed to tackling domestic violence in our state of Connecticut. Mary Jane, always great to have you on the couch. Sadly, it's on topics like these. We are some 4+ years removed from Jennifer Dulos' death, or presumed death and disappearance. What has struck you the most about her story, do you think?
Well, I think what we are grateful for in this tragedy is that her death has shone a very bright light on the issue of domestic violence, of intimate partner abuse, and how, in fact, lethal it can be. For better or for worse, when we think about victims of domestic violence, we don't think about people who look like Jennifer Dulos or who have the history that Jennifer Dulos had. We don't think that if you were raised in privilege, highly educated, beautiful, smart, talented, that these things can happen to you. And what we learned in the Dulos case, which we have to keep learning over and over, sadly, is that it can happen to anyone, anytime.
Over the weekend, I was at the Reservoir in West Hartford, where I run regularly. Took some video with my cell phone. This memorial to Jennifer has been there for years. People have been looking at it and walking by it for years. Why did her story connect with so many folks in the way that it has?
I think for a number of reasons. One is because, again, we just didn't believe that this could happen to someone like that, or it could happen in a wealthy community. And she was so vibrant and so warm and so beloved in her community that her family and her friends have made sure that this did not disappear.
Her estranged husband took his own life before a verdict in this case. He was facing a murder charge. Is that frustrating? Is it upsetting? Does that factor into your thought process that you did not get a verdict on that front with him?
I don't think of it that way, because it would be frustrating, constantly frustrating, because so many of these homicides end finally with a suicide. And so while we all want justice, justice is defined in multiple ways. So I just don't think of it in those terms.
What I think is perhaps most powerful about the work that you do and the organization that you're with is not only are you helping people in need, but you're also empowering people to make the best choices for themselves. For somebody at home who's watching this morning, struggling themselves in a domestic situation or they know someone who is, what do they do, Mary Jane, right now? Believe
it or not, our 24/7 hotline, which is free and is confidential. We never disclose. We do not disclose anything that comes into us, ever. And it's free. It's 24/7, 365 days a year. And of the 5,000 calls that we get roughly on an annual basis, most of those are calls from people who are looking for information. They don't know what's happened to their relationship. Remember, these are two people who fell in love, put their hope, faith, and trust in each other, and all of a sudden, it's changed, and it's dark, and it's scary. So most of those calls are for information. So if you are feeling like something is off, if you are feeling threatened or intimidated, or you know someone who is, call a hotline, the statewide hotline or your local domestic violence agency, and talk to someone.
All right, we will get that information on our website, FOX61.com. In a spirit of full disclosure, FOX61 has been proud to sponsor the work that you're doing, so I did want to point that out. As always, appreciate your joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, back